Hello people of the universe. So this is going to be a really different video. It's going to be something you wouldn't normally expect from me. So buckle up, get snacks, take a seat if you're not already sat down, because I'm going to talk to you about video games. I know, right? Not something you'd expect from the MrRAWEEE channel, but I don't know why, I just sort of got possessed to make this. It's weird. This started by me just getting randomly nostalgic and going through some old games I used to play, and for whatever reason I just thought I could make it into a video. So this is that. Get ready. If you're a regular on the channel, or you know me in real life, you'd be very familiar with this, I guess you could call it a meme, of me not being a gamer. It's just a personal thing really, where I refuse to just define myself by that label, simply because, in my opinion, I just don't fit that category of people. I'm not one of those people that, you know, boots up a game as soon as they wake up. You know, I'm never really looking for any new games to play. I'm not one of them people that spends 50 years on Dead by Daylight. I'm not one of those people that, if it were possible, I could liquidate Deep Rock Galactic and snort it like a line of coke. And I'm certainly not one of those people busting the fat one over Gary's mod. I ain't about that life. Now YouTube, that's a different story, let me tell you. But anyway, back on track. I guess you could say my very first experience with the gaming medium, I guess, would be via my dad. Who showed me a bunch of games that he used to play when he was a kid. I must have been about 4, 5, and my dad had some sort of emulator on our old computer, and he would show me games from the 80s that he used to play. The only one that's coming to mind right now is Paperboy. I remember him showing me Paperboy. It's about as fun as it looks.
So here's the deal, kids. We're gonna deliver papers to all these people. Oh, what's that? I don't know. I've got it, apparently. Who are you? Get out of the way. Whoa! Okay, let's try that again. Excuse me, mister. What is that?
And that was the extent of my gaming experience for a good couple of years. Just watching my dad play games and occasionally trying them out myself and giving up and letting him take over. We also played Hitman together.
He's packing!
Also, shout out to Max Payne for having one of the most diabolical levels in all of history.
In one of the levels you have to follow this trail of blood, and the controls were very finicky, because since then I have looked at some reviews of the game, and what my dad was experiencing was a common problem, in which if you even slightly deviated from the path of blood that you had to follow, you would fall off into this black void and die. And judging by all the reviews I read online, that level of the game is widely regarded as utter shit. But my dad couldn't figure out that level for the life of him, and gave up. So I don't actually know how that game ends, because I never watched it happen.
Some honorable mentions to Desperados Wanted Dead or Alive.
It should end in tears.
And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and Worms for the PS1.
So yeah, as I said earlier, that was the extent of my gaming experience for a majority of my life, was just my dad showing me all of these games. Until weekly family gatherings started to become a thing. And me and my cousin Nathan, yes, that Nathan,
High five me! Ow!
would regularly go up to his room and go on his computer. Well, I would go on his computer and he would play games. They included, but were not limited to, Superman Returns. Never seen any of the movies, probably never will. But I basically begged my dad to buy me this after I played it once over at Nathan's house. In Nathan's copy of the game, I would go around essentially destroying the entire city that I was in. My dad got me this one, I put it in, and was disappointed to find out you actually had to play some of the missions to get to the point where Nathan was in the game so that I could piss about. Played it once, never touched it again. Waste of £15. Sorry, Dad. Jaws Unleashed. Again, never seen the movies, but Nathan had it and I wanted it. I never played any of the missions and just went around and ate people. Destroy All Humans 1 and 2. Oh, guess what? Never completed them. I know, right? I got the second one before I even completed the first one. A side note, actually, for those who didn't know, this recently got remade. Look at it. Wow, doesn't it look beautiful? Regardless if completed or not, they're still very good games. I've completed the remake. Now, these ones I can't actually remember if Nathan owned, but they're still a very big part of my childhood. Canis Canem, more commonly known as Bully. I can't quite remember remember how much I played of this, but if I'm remembering rightly, it was just another one of those I watched my dad play it kind of things. But regardless, I still very much remember this game, and from what I remember, it was pretty cool. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the meme one. You know the one that. Oh, that's what it is, isn't it? I think that's the one. Surprise, surprise, never did the missions, just went around and beat up innocent people. Simpsons Hit and Run, a classic. Come on, you know that. You know it. I will admit, I still get a bit of euphoria when I see this, you know, the proper original instruction manuals, you know. And that's right, never got very far in the game because it was probably difficult at one point and I gave up. Ed, Edd n Eddy, The Misadventures. I did actually play this one earlier out of just nostalgia, and I realized how little of the game I actually did. I still very much remembered the part I left off at, and it was right at the beginning of the game. How easily defeated am I? Don't answer that, you know who you are. Also, shout out to Driver 3, Dead Rising, You're in the Movies, Spore, iToy, and iToy 2. Top quality shit right here. You guys don't have lives. Am I really the only one getting positive ASMR from these, you know, classic instruction manuals? You don't get these anymore, kids. I wonder if these numbers even still work. Someone do that for me. And here's the part of the video which gets a lot more relaxed and actually interesting, because now we're actually going to talk about games that I've completed and actually had an interest in, as opposed to just playing them casually when I was 5. Of course, when I say completed, I mean completed by myself. Because yes, I've completed games here and there, like those shitty Doctor Who Adventures games that came out in like 2010.
The Ice Age is only a click away on the dial.
But I used to be defeated by a puzzle and get my dad to do it for me, so I don't really count those. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the very first game I ever completed.
As you may have noticed as this video has been going on, is that a lot of the other games I've played in the past have either remained incomplete or I've cheated the system in some way. I've got other people to do certain things in the game for me. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I didn't have to look at walkthroughs while playing Portal for the first time. Probably more times than I'm proud to admit. But in my opinion, there's a stark difference between looking up walkthroughs when you're stuck and getting someone else to play the bits that are too hard for you to do. I suppose if we're talking technically, To the Moon was the very first game I ever completed, but I was never really engaged in the story and I was only doing it on recommendation of a friend. And it was one of those games where I only played it once and never again, so I don't really count that one. There's also the Stanley Parable, but that's less of a game and more of just an experience. I know it's a technicality, but shut up. It's my video. While doing some research for this video, I found out that I never even used Steam until like 2015. Just gonna give you a little pry into my life here. Here you go. This was my very first Steam purchase. So yes, it's all well and good having Portal be the first game I played from start to finish while actually taking an interest in the story. But what kind of a Portal game player would I be if I didn't talk about Half-Life at least once? Long story short, out of all the games I've played, and all the games I've failed to complete, and all the games I've tried to play and then been like, oh dad, do it for me, I can say without a doubt, Half-Life 2 is my favorite game. Period. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't fully know why. I would expect Portal to be my favorite game, considering it's the first one I really took an interest in and completed from start to finish, with only the aid of a couple of walkthroughs. I honestly think it's the story, which obviously I'm not going to go into here because this isn't a Half-Life 2 review video. Long story short, game good, buy game. It's fun. The storyline, the characters, oh. Fun fact, I actually completed Half-Life 2 before the original game. The original game is very much a 90s shooter, in the sense that its difficulty is very high when compared to games released at a later date. This footage you're watching right now is actually me playing. And just finishing this bit off, because I know you don't want to sit here and just listen to me ramble about Half-Life for 50 years. While yes, I did get invested into the story of Portal, and by extension Portal 2, I really got invested in Half-Life's storyline. So much so that me playing Half-Life 2 caused a chain reaction that got me interested in the beta of Half-Life 2, cut content from Half-Life in general. Essentially, I breathed the franchise now. Oh boy, it's time for another honorable mention. Now, I could ramble on about how Boneworks is simply the best VR game ever created, even better than Half-Life Alyx, but I think I'll let this unreleased shitpost speak for itself. Shit. Yeah, suck my dick! Now I'm Mr. Two-Gun.
And that concludes this video, I suppose. Thank you for watching whatever it was. I don't even know what it was, but you watched it, so you're the idiot here. I just made it. You sat through it. Obviously, these aren't all of the games I've played in my entire life. There were a couple that I just simply didn't list because I either originally forgot about them or just for time. I didn't want this entire thing becoming like half an hour long. I mean, there are other games I played around Nathan's house, Left 4 Dead, Halo. I don't know. I didn't want this entire video to be, oh, I played it once and that's it. You may be thinking, Michael, you've just done an entire video on games, and you didn't once mention Five Nights at Freddy's, which was in fact a game. Did you just gloss over the entire FNAF franchise? Yes, I did.